What's up, guys? Lunar Wolf Max here. I was going to take a break from doing the police harassment videos and tell a story about some other harassment that I dealt with when I was in high school. Or I don't know what they call it in England. Grade 12. I don't know. I can't remember. But so I've been told by a family member and by other people that I don't know what it's like to be harassed based on my color. I don't know what it's like to be the only white person in a room or in a business. The first paint shop I ever worked at, I was the only white person in the entire paint shop out of 6 workers. So it just never, and I didn't really think about it like I'm the only white person here, but I never thought about it till later in life when people are like, you don't know what it's like being the only person of your skin color in a room or in a business. No, yeah, I do. So I'm kind of getting these, I'm doing these videos to get my point across that, yeah, I know what it's like to be harassed by the police. I know what it's like to be the only person of my skin tone in a room. I've gone through these things. So today I wanted to do the video about the time I got in trouble for physically defending myself. The classes we were in had like mixed grades. So I was in a class one day at high school. I was in 12th grade and our teacher was out, so they put us in this other class. I sat in a desk. This large black dude, he was a junior. I was a senior, but he was a junior, but he was twice my size. He was a defensive lineman on the football team. We ended up becoming pretty good friends, but he came in and he said, hey, you're sitting at my desk. This large dude, very big guy. I'm not a big guy. I'm 5'7". You know, at the time I was probably 170 pounds, 5'7". This dude's 6'1", 6'2", you know, 200 something. He was a very large defensive lineman. And he came in, he played on football for my British viewers, American football. He was a large guy. But he came in and said, hey, you're sitting in my seat. And I said, man, there were desks everywhere. And I'm just sitting in the middle of the room. I feel like he just saw me sitting there and was like, I'm going to pick on this guy. He said, hey, you're sitting in my seat. And I said, man, sit somewhere else. And he said, no, I'm just going to sit on you. So he sat on me. This huge guy sat on me in my desk. So, of course, I pushed him off of me and I punched him in the face and we got in a fight. We got in a brawl. He ended up tackling me and my head hit another desk and broke the desk in half. And we ended up like scrapping. The fight ended with us both on our feet punching each other. A teacher and a couple students kind of wedged themselves in between us. But I got taken to describe to you my school. My school at the time was majority black, and it is today. It's just about all black. I don't know. I want to say it's like 80-20, 80% black. There's Hispanic and white, but then it was still majority black. So I was a minority in these classes. Sometimes I would be the only white person in the whole classroom. But so the police resources officer, the police officer for the school came and got me and the black dude and took us down to the principal, who was black, and they sat me in this room. So I sat here, the guy who sat on me sat next to me, and then there was the principal and the police officer stood behind the principal. And the principal asked what happened. And I said, well, he sat on me. And he didn't disagree with it. He was like, yeah, I sat on him. I said, he sat on me and I punched him in the face, so we got in a fight. And she said, so you punched him first? I said, yeah, but he sat on me. And she said, do you know you could be charged with a hate crime? And I said, what? I immediately I was like, oh, I see what's going on here. I'm the only white person in the room. This big black dude sits on me. I punch him in the face. We get in a fight. So of course, I'm the one that started it. She said, we could charge you with a hate crime and have you kicked out of the school. And I'm like, I just got quiet at that point because I'm like, there's no point in talking anymore. She's already made up her mind that I punched this guy because he's black, even though he sat on me. And no racial anything was said between either of us. Even him. The dude that started the fight never said anything like, oh, you're white, I'm going to beat you up. Nothing like that was said the whole time. But she just kind of come up with it herself, was like, we could charge you with a hate crime. And I just remember sitting in that room and being the only white person. Like, I just kind of gave up. I'm like, well, they think I'm racist because this giant sat on me and I hit him in the face. Like, I don't understand the logic behind that, but it was a very weird scenario being the only white person there and having black people tell me that I'm racist because I defended myself. It was super weird. I remember the police officer, so by school rule, like their policy, he was supposed to take me to jail. But the police officer got me out in the parking lot and he was like, dude, I'm not going to take you to jail. He was supposed to take me to jail and then my parents would pick me up at the jail. But he was like, I'm not going to take you to jail. Just, he gave me a cell phone, was like, call your mom, get her to come down here or whatever. I called my mom. I remember my mom showed up and she was so mad at me. Like, I just remember that whole day, like, everybody's mad at me because this big guy picked on me, physically assaulted me, and I defended myself. And people are telling me I could be charged with a hate crime. You know, my parents are mad at me for defending myself. Like, I'm till this day, I'm still confused. What was I supposed to do? Just let this giant of a man sit on me in a desk? Like, because his next thing with me sitting there was he was just going to keep picking on me. There was no teacher in the classroom at the time. So I think that's kind of why he was doing it. But that's kind of my story of being a different skin color and having people of different skin colors tell me that, hey, because you're different color and you defended yourself, we could charge you and put you in jail. And I'm like, that's crazy. The reason I told this story was I was watching Joe Rogan and he's talking to this Mexican native who moved to America and became a citizen. And he was talking about how here in schools nowadays, you cannot fight whatsoever. If you get in a fight, which it was true, that was 2003. It was true then. If you get in a fight, you're going to jail. Like, whether you're defending yourself or not. Somebody could be trying to kill you actively, and if you defend yourself, you're going to jail. So they're so against fighting. And I remember that Mexican guy on Joe Rogan's podcast telling him, like, I think that's crazy, because he was saying in Mexico, if two kids get in a fight, yeah, they get disciplined, but they don't get kicked out of school. They don't get taken to jail. It's not a big deal there. He's saying that, like, America's become kind of soft like that. Like, you can't even defend yourself in school without getting taken to jail, and that's insane. But speaking on the, me being white and not knowing what it's like, having people treat me different because of my skin color, the area I grew up in and the area I worked in, most of the jobs I had, I would be the minority, so I'm used to that, and it never bothered me. It bothered me that one time when I was the minority in that room with the principal and the guy who was trying to beat me up and the cop. That kind of bothered me. I was like, wow, these people think I'm racist because I defended myself from this big giant sitting on me. That really bothered me. So what I'm getting at is I know what it's like to be harassed. I know what it's like to be the only person of my skin color in a room. Most of my classrooms were all black and I'd be the only white person. Never had an issue, like, except for that one time. Other times, like, people leave me alone, I'd leave them alone most of the time, But anyways, appreciate y'all watching. Check me out, SoundCloud, Instagram, Twitter. Like always, check me out on the streets.